Welcome back. We're gonna install the HEPCO&BECKER crash bars, or so-called tank protectors, tank bars for the Honda TRANSALP 750. I've decided to replace the original crash bars from Honda with the HEPCO&BECKER crash bars. The reason is very simple. They are twice, the price is twice as cheap as the Honda originals. So the original Honda cost about 400 euro, about 420 euros, and the HEPCO&BECKER about 220, 230 euros maximum, depending on where you're buying it. So I decided to mount the HEPCO&BECKER. They're also lighter than the original ones, lighter with at least half a kilo. So we're gonna mount it today, and we're gonna see if we succeed. Stick around. We received everything from HEPCO&BECKER, everything which we need to install it properly, installation guide and so on. So what we have here in the package, we have 2 Allen screws M8, another 4 Allen screws M8, different dimensions, one shorter, one longer. The longer ones are for the front and the shorter ones are for the sides. We have 8 washers, 2 self-lock nuts M8, LU spacers, 4 and 1 connector, which will connect the both of these tank protectors bars. So basically this is it. The bars are looking quite nice, very quality made. When I compare the color, it's slightly different. I mean, these are lighter, but in the same time these were somehow exposed to the sun, so the color, it's slightly different. We're gonna check them out at the end. And basically what we have here, the bolts, the washers, and what we're gonna do, it's first try to see how it fits on each side. We have the original screws which we took out. They are slightly shorter than the one provided by HEPCO&BECKER. These are the one provided by HEPCO&BECKER. They have this this Allen screw M8 over here, so and one washer, one thick washer for each side. So we're gonna use these ones from HEPCO&BECKER, and we're gonna keep aside the original ones, which are slightly shorter. And I think it's better to use the HEPCO&BECKER. These are the bars. They what I also liked about it, in comparison with the original ones, they don't have the fog light attachment, which is not even a problem, because the fog lights can be attached also in the middle, or there are many options for attaching the headlights if you want to attach it. And it has one connection. I think they're much better from this perspective. They are very light, but also quite robust from what I can see. And they will be attached with 2 bolts on each side. And also underneath we have another 2 bolts which will be attached underneath the headlight. And here we have the installation instructions, which are provided also in English, German and English. So they are very straightforward. 2 bolts on the side with a washer. This is for the front side. These are the washers. Fastening of the tank guard rear right. You have all the provided instructions. So there are a few steps. We're gonna start by unmounting the original screws, and then connect the 2 bars with this connector into the end of the pipe. This is the connector which connects both of the pipes. Also, we're gonna fasten up the tank guard rear left, rear right with the Allen screws and washers. And we're gonna insert the aluminum spacers between the tab and the adapter, to have the spacer between this new bracket and the adapter from Honda. So it's basically a straightforward procedure, but it needs some care, as always, some special attention and patience to mount it properly. A lot, huh? First you loosen up and then you can take it out by hand. A lot, huh? There is quite some tension on the upper bolt. You can feel it by hand. There is some tension over there. It's recommended that someone actually keeps this up because the tension can go in the fenders, in the left and right fender. So it's better to pull it up just slightly to remove some of the tension which is already provided underneath. You need actually two persons here. One is keeping the bar on a position, and the other one is mounting the bolts just to keep them in place. Alo? And now we're just gonna put the bar in place, just not tidy it up, just fix it. We need the free play to be able to mount all the bolts. Mai sus trebuie. They are staying in the position. Just slightly tie them up, just to keep them in place. And now we're gonna do the same for the left side. Loosen up the bolts, the original one, take them out. They are too short, the length is too short to use them also for mounting the HEPCO&BECKER TANKGUARD in combination with the original rally pack. So you need to use the one provided from HEPCO&BECKER. You can also use the original ones, but they will not complete the course until the end because of the washer that comes on top. I have to keep it from here in position. Leave them loose because you need free play for the bars to adjust them properly. And now we're gonna install this connector between the pipes. It has only one connector. Lifting the headlight for just a bit, it's helping quite a lot keeping the bolts in place underneath the headlight over here on the connecting part of the crash bars. And now we have to put the washers and everything to tie them up, especially here underneath. We're gonna start to do that. We didn't tie it up completely, but you can see the space is perfectly equal, perfectly parallel, straight with the fender. Also here on this side. You can check it out. It goes also over the bike's frame, so somehow it's very good that it stops here. Let's move forward by tightening up the screws. There is also a free play over here. We can mount it upwards and downwards. You can either put it up or down, but we're gonna leave it slightly down because we would like to have more stability, more grip on this side, so we don't need it to push it up too much. These are the old bolts. These are from underneath the headlight with their washers, bolts, and these are the bolts from the side. So these are the old ones. We're not gonna use them. Gonna use the provided bolts and washers from HEPCO&BECKER. And we have a 6mm imbus for these two bolts, and also 6mm for the one from the side. Also 6mm. Let's lift a little bit farul, nu? Bara? We're gonna lift it just a bit. Ask your neighbor to help you lift and help you mount somehow this crash bar in order to protect the fenders and not to scratch it. The space, it's quite narrow. You need to make some space in order to tie them up. Take your time, as usual. Patience is a virtue. You can put 25 Newton meters for these bolts. And now we are for the sides. Put 35 Newton meters, just to be sure. 35 Newton meters. If you have a torque, if you have experience, you don't need. Regarding the length of the screw, if you put your finger, then you can feel the end. It's not like exactly to the end. There's still 1, maybe 2 millimeters, but I think it's about 1 millimeter distance until the end. After you tied up the bolts from the side, you will notice that you need to tie up once again the bolts from the underneath the headlight. So make sure you double check it both ways. So after you tied it up, don't give up. After you tied it up here on the side, check it once again, because it will become slightly loose, and tie it up once again upwards. You don't need to tie it up much after you tied up these bolts, but there is slightly an overcheck, and as you can see, we still need to tie it up one more time at the end. And this is it, guys, the HEPCO&BECKER crash bar or tank guard. It looks in my opinion, looks much better than the original one. And also it has more space between the fender, which gives you somehow more protection for the side of the bike. If you check it out, you will see that it overpasses also the exhaust with more than 1 centimeter, if not more. So I really like the design. I like the functionality. It starts from underneath over here. It overpasses also, if you can see, it overpasses also the engine guard and the skid plate. I have to admit that the HEPCO&BECKER engine protection, it's much nicer. It's wider. But yeah, it is what it is for the moment. I having the rally kit plus the HEPCO&BECKER crash bars. They are very solid. Only one connection here. 3, I think 3 for the original one. So you have a more compact protection for the fenders. And you can see here it also overpasses the pillion foot peg over there. So it's quite nice. What I still have to do is to change the hand guards. in the future, in the very near future, with the Acerbis one or the bark busters. But this is it. This is how the HEPCO&BECKER crash bar is looking like. You can also fix it with your original Honda accessories with no problem, as you could already saw it. It covers slightly the TRANSALP logo, which is not so nice, but we need to protect it. And now this is the look of the bike. The TRANSALP logo is covered by the crash bar, and also here you can check it out. And I have to be honest, the sound if you, it sounds more full, more thick as the original one. So this is the original one. Hopefully the This was the installation process for the HEPCO&BECKER crash bars, which they were mounted on my TRANSALP 750. They fit perfectly with the original rally pack, and also they provide, in my opinion, they are a better option, in my opinion, than the original crash bars. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye bye.